I can tell that apart from the work that we are doing as in developing solutions in-house at NyamukAfrica, you know, we have grown to become a hub where we work with different people, different youths. We've worked with youths, we work with women who have their business ideas, and they have participated in some of the events that we have organized. For example, in February, we had the Lusaka Startup Weekend in February this year, and in March we had the Harare Startup Weekend. And also in the month of April, we had you know, some online startup weekend events where we had participants from Zambia, and also with participants from Zimbabwe, and one, I think, startup that participated from Kenya. And it's, you know, we can't say the startups that participated in the online events that were themed around fighting COVID-19. It's not like we started with them. These are people that we found because we organized an event. And the biggest highlight of all this is that one of the startups that came number one in Zimbabwe made it to the top 20, of you know, this Techstars global startup weekend. It's really something that is amazing, and we are yet to know the results later today to know whether they made it in top 5. And we are very confident, and we are happy that they've made it so far. And we have close to 20, almost like 18 to 20 startups that we are working with, you know, sharing our experience. And I think that is impacting us so far.
Okay, that's amazing, and that's good to hear. Are there any comments from the rest of the team, Mr. Frederick?
Yeah, I think myself, I can share the situation, how we met actually. You know, I met Stephen when I was introduced my young brother Joseph for the first time, and he will want something from me, and we struggled at parking lot discussing about what we can do. Then later on, Stephen, I remember he told me, "But brother, why don't we partner?" So from the being a customer, now Stevie became a partner. And I remember first meeting, it was planned at the Impact Hub, where we sit at the bench down there outside near the swimming pool. And we start discussing about how we can start NyamukAfrica. And it was very successful meeting. And eventually, that's how we come up with the NyamukAfrica. And another exciting moment was the time when we went to launch Nyamuka Books in Nairobi. It was like I planned to go to Nairobi myself with the other team of Commercial CBC, and Steve said, "I'll join you." Then they said, "Okay, if you were joining to that meeting, let's go and launch our Nyamuka Books." And this is how we started up.
Awesome.
That's what I experienced. Yeah.
Awesome. This is great. So you have mentioned Impact Hub, and straight into the program, we'll go into a line of speakers, and one of them is Impact Hub. But so we'll start with Joanne Mtaja, and Joanne is a lawyer and a compliance specialist. So Joanne, we'll just leave the floor to you now. Hello, and welcome to the launch, to the celebration of Nyamuka's first year. Joanne, if you can just unmute
you. I think my mic was muted.
Oh, okay, awesome.
That seems to happen a lot with these virtual things. Thank you, Lukonde. Thanks, Sopani. Thank you, everyone. And thank you so much for having me. My name, as Sopani said, is Joanne Mtaja. I'm a lawyer, and I'm also a compliance specialist. I have participated in a number of programs that have been organized by NyamukAfrica, and my contribution largely has been around the legal issues and the legal considerations that startups and entrepreneurs should have as they embark on their journeys. So basically, mine has been to just remind all of us of those considerations so that we build lasting legacy, so that our ideas can grow even beyond ourselves. Okay. So, but around NyamukAfrica, it's been a pleasure for me to work with them and to just watch them grow as an organization and to flourish so much in just 1 year. I think the number of things that the company has managed to accomplish just in this 1 year has been remarkable. When you consider their trips to Kenya, and just from the various programs that they've not only participated in, but also programs that they have organized themselves, it's been awesome to be a part of, to watch, and also even just to be requested to speak at some of their events. For me, NyamukAfrica represents a group of people that have been relentless in pursuing their dreams, a group of people that have spent sleepless nights sacrificing their time and sometimes their personal finances just to see the organization rise to where it has gotten. So I'm excited to be a part of this, and I want to congratulate NyamukAfrica for coming this far, for continuing the race and for not stopping. It's an inspiration to most of us that are still waiting to take that first step as startups or as entrepreneurs. I also want to congratulate everyone that has embarked on this startup journey or this entrepreneurial journey, yourself, Sopani, Lukonde, and everybody else that's here. It's not an easy road to take, and very few people would be brave enough to take this road. But I do believe that Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, all of us, this continent is dependent on us stepping out and walking that journey. This continent depends on us, um, you know, embracing technology and ensuring that we meet our every need. You know, our continent can rise, but we need ideas like NyamukAfrica. We need hubs to come together and help us come up with ideas that can help us see a better generation for tomorrow. So for me, this 1 year anniversary for NyamukAfrica is a toast to every startup, every entrepreneur, everyone that's making that decision, everyone that has that idea. It's a toast that just reminds us that your dreams are valid, and just keep on pressing on. I hope that everybody that's here gets encouraged and challenged to start something of their own. And I know that later on, that they're going to speak of the challenge that's coming up, and I hope that there's somebody out there that can take the high road and feel challenged enough to participate. So thank you very much for having me today, and once again, congratulations to NyamukAfrica for their 1 year anniversary. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Beatrice.
Very encouraging. Sorry to interrupt, Topani. We earlier talked about Impact Hub and Mr. Fred's story on how he met Mr. Steven. We also met Mr. Steven and the NyamukAfrica team at Impact Hub when we had our little something at Impact Hub. So I think it's only right to bring in Julius at this point, who is the co-founder and general manager for Impact Hub, and just for him to come through and speak. Julius, you can join us.
Thank you very much, Beatrice, for inviting me. And I'd like to thank NyamukAfrica for extending the invitation to Impact Hub Lusaka to be part of their first anniversary celebration, which is a big milestone in their journey in creating impact and supporting people with ideas, and those who already have ideas, helping them to refine their ideas. As I have seen over the past year, they have worked with young people who have no idea, basically, as they, during their incubation programs, they welcome people with no idea, and they would mold them into people with ideas by assimilation of their idea generation workshops, which they run. And also those who are already running something, just helping them to fine tune a few things. For me, I think that's something that is incredible. And as the saying goes, intention is the only force, because there's nothing that is bigger than that. And when I remember how NyamukAfrica team came to Impact Hub, because we are equally 1 year old as well, so basically grew together. And when they came, the reason why they sat in the veranda is because there was no furniture. That's why they sat in the veranda, because there was no furniture, and they just wanted to sit somewhere, and then they had to put whatever they could put where they could sit, and that's how they found themselves in the veranda, because we are equally starting as well, and they had the belief of being part of this amazing Zambian ecosystem of entrepreneurs and social innovators, and they have demonstrated so by creating a network of people who are purely entrepreneurs and those who can classify as social innovators, looking at the solutions which they've been able to support and also to mod. Ladies in Designing, which is also an idea or venture that resulted as networking at Impact Hub Lusaka, has gone to grow in multi-layers by having Tivale Mo, which is a remarkable achievement for a startup in 1 year, and also for things which we may take for granted. But I'm happy we have Joanne here. If people have questions, she'll talk about that. When you talk of legal registration, when people come to hubs, they have ideas, they just come with ideas which are not even registered or anything. But we've seen both NyamukAfrica and Ladies in Designing being registered and legally compliant institutions, which gives confidence even to people who may be willing to work with them. And for me, NyamukAfrica represents what hope and courage is, what determination is. And looking at the way they've worked to build a community of entrepreneurs who have not just come together once and forgotten about each other, but they've continuously gotten engaged with one another over time, is something which we have to acknowledge and support, and also encourage, so that we see many more young people and those who are not young, but they do have ideas and would want to be part of the bandwagon of entrepreneurs and social innovators. These we have to support and ensure that we create job creation and impact in our communities. And as Impact Hub Lusaka, we are very much happy that some of the members who were in our space, they've grown to a level where they can be on their own, have their own space and run events on their own, and also crossing the border. It's not easy to go to another country to present your idea and then come back and work on it and then seeing it grow. It just shows courage and how much they want to soar into the sky by going as far as Kenya to pitch the idea, and also the other solutions which NyamukAfrica has. Because when they started, they had the idea of the accounting cloud funding solutions, but then that has also grown into many more products, such as the EduSong, and also the support which they offer to Ladies in Designing. It just shows that there's that whatever we're doing right now, it may seem small to others who might be big or who have moved many miles ahead of us, but to us who understand our journey and where we are coming from and how we have achieved what we have achieved, this is something incredible, and it represents the strength and also the magnitude of where we are going. Because if in 1 year, barely knowing a lot of people, a lot of institutions, and we've managed to scratch this much, imagine what we would be able to do in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, when we have learned the ecosystem much more and we've acquired a lot of support from institutions that work with entrepreneurs. So for me, what we've started is something that needs to be embraced, and we have to give as much support as we can to NyamukAfrica. And even as we create this local ecosystem of entrepreneurs and social innovators, as NyamukAfrica, as Ladies in Designing, as Impact Hub Lusaka, it is also imperative that we reach out to other hubs that are outside our country. It could be those coming from Asia, those coming from Europe, those coming from America. There's power in shifting ideas, and right now we do have that opportunity to facilitate the process of allowing ideas to shift, and we hold the container of ensuring that these ideas are implemented. So when we come, or when we allow people come together for maybe an event, that's just a perfect excuse that we need to allow people come up with ideas that could change our world. When we look at some of the big brands that we have globally, these are ideas that came up from mere conversations, people meeting, talking, and we have the multi-billion companies today in the few decades. Who knows what our programs may birth in the next few years. So basically, without saying much, I'll just say what we've started is something that is important and it should be supported. And I'm very much happy that NyamukAfrica has managed to grow this big in 1 year, and also something which we are all aware, there's COVID, and we've survived COVID, which is a good thing, because some of the startups, they've died, which is a bad thing, but for NyamukAfrica having survived COVID as well, for me, that's a plus, and they should be supported. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Julius.
Thank you very much, Julius, for that. I heard you say something that really shook me. You talked about the power in sharing ideas and the power in talking to people. Like, networking is very important, because for us also as Ladies in Designing, we met through networking. So I just wanted to add on to your encouragement to others that it's important to share ideas and to interact with other people. Even on this platform, it being Zoom, and yes, we're not physically interacting with the person, but our ideas can still travel on this platform and we can still meet and talk to people. So yeah, that's really interesting. Thank you very much, Julius.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and just to add on, Julius, on what you have said, you have mentioned that the steps that Nyamuka has taken so far, the steps that it has, the journey it has taken in this 12 months, it represents the strengths and the magnitude of where we're going. I think this is true. Being a startup that Nyamuka has impacted, I do have hope for the future in where we're going if we continue to collaborate. This might seem like a small step, as you mentioned, Julius, but if we have 20 people present, that's like a whole coffee shop filled with people who are ready to listen to these ideas. So thank you so much to everyone again who is joined in to celebrate Nyamuka's first year anniversary. Beatrice, I'll give it to you to introduce the next speaker.
So our next speaker, forgive me if I pronounce this wrongly, I'm very much Bemba, so you know where I come from, Alabama, certain situations. So yes, Miss Miloy, God, please let this be correct. She's an associate expert, Tech Sector Development Africa at International Trade Center. You're very much welcome, and you are ready to speak. We are very excited to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Lukonde. Can you all hear me very well? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for the invite to the whole Nyamuka team, and happy anniversary, of course. So for the ones that don't know me, well, like Lukonde said, my name is Milou, and I work at the International Trade Center in Geneva. but our work is mainly based in Africa, so working on the tech sector development there. Before I'm going to chat about how exactly I met with the Nyamuka team, I have to introduce you to our projects because that's how we got involved. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if that works. And you tell me if you can actually see my screen.
I can see the screen.
We can see it.
Myself.
Okay, great. So the project, one of the projects I'm working on is called Fast Track Tech Africa. And as you can see in the little map here, we're actually involved in quite a lot of countries. And one of them here is Zambia. The Fast Track Tech program is currently set for 2 years, but we hope that it will last longer. We started off in October 2019. And basically what it's focused on is developing the tech sector in those countries. Now, how do we do this? There are 4 focus areas, as you can see here on the right side. So the first level, the first focus area is at the level of the policymakers. So we support the regulation through dialogue and business-friendly ecosystems. The second one is at the level of tech hubs. So we really try to work together with the existing tech hubs in the countries already. So for example, Bongo Hive and Jacaranda Hub and Impact Hub, we do try to establish those partnerships there. Otherwise, the tech sector doesn't grow. These institutions are really important. Then the third one is at the level of the tech startups, of course. We help them build skills and help them with coaching. We organize webinars. Normally this is going face to face, but obviously with COVID, it has to go online. And then the fourth one is at the level of the market. So we connect the startups with other businesses, but also with investors. And we try to do this on an international scale as well. So bringing them to tech summits or tech events, for example, the Web Summit in Portugal or Slush in Finland, in Helsinki, to meet up with many people that could be interesting for their business. So that's in a nutshell the initiative. Now, moving on to the next one. So I think it was in November when Nyamuka signed up for an application to Fast Track Tech. And in December, I came to Lusaka and I met with them. We had a good chat about their business and their aspirations. We basically asked them loads of questions. I hope it wasn't too annoying. But yeah, that's where our partnership started, which has been really great so far. And I actually was supposed to come back soon, but due to COVID-19, that wasn't working. So now we have shifted our offering online, or at least we have tried to do it as well as possible. So why is it shifting here? So actually, the NyamukAfrica team works with us under their Nyamuka book solution. And we've done quite a couple of things already with them. So there was a business model advisory training, a crisis management webinar, a digital webinar. There was an e-commerce week participation from them. We have created their profile. And the last thing, linking to partners, count actually for both ways. The guys, especially Stephen, have introduced me to a lot of interesting people, which we really appreciate. And I hope vice versa as well. I think they're really one of the most driven and enthusiastic teams that I've worked with so far, which has been absolutely great. They really go above and beyond. And as entrepreneurs themselves, they're just focusing on their own business. But they also are organizers for the tech things. And this is great help to drive the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Lusaka and in Zambia in general. Because I feel that's forgotten a lot of the times, where parties come in and they help startups or they help one specific line of businesses, but we have to look at the whole ecosystem here. And that actually leads me to my next point. So the International Trade Center has facilitated a tech entrepreneurship ecosystem exercise in Zambia together with ZICTA. I think you all know ZICTA, the Zambian Information Communication Technology Agency. And this was conducted with the support of the help of many ecosystem players, so government bodies, tech hubs, VCs, but also startups themselves. So the objective of this report is to really provide a description of Zambia's tech entrepreneurship ecosystem of institutions, identify gaps, overlaps, and then provide recommendations. So this was achieved through a comprehensive analysis, which started with an initial mapping of the overall ecosystem and looks at the types of support provided by institutions to entrepreneurs at different stages of the business life cycle. So very early stage to very mature. Secondly, delving a bit deeper, a network analysis was conducted to observe the types of linkages or collaborations that happen between various organizations. And this network analysis shows the connections between actors and also identifies which institutions are highly connected. And finally, all the key ecosystem players, or not all of them, but a good lot of them have been asked to share their insights. So it has been coming from multiple sides, and ZICTA has led this very well. As you can see here on the right side, the key takeouts were, first of all, a better coordination between players in the tech entrepreneurship ecosystem is crucial to provide Zambian startups with opportunities for growth. And the second one is entrepreneurs need support expanding into broader sectors of the economy and reach regional but also international markets. So this is really in a nutshell what this paper is about, but what we are trying to do is really get this paper into action. And actually it was supposed to be a physical event in Lusaka. Maybe we even wanted to go to the Zambian Entrepreneurship Summit to present it there and, get people together and talk about this. How can we bring institutions better together? What platform can we use? And actually a lot of organizations we talked to, they're doing the same thing and they didn't even know about each other. So we have to combine forces rather than to do the same things on our own. I can put the link of the ecosystem mapping in the chat as well. If you want to have a read, then you can read it there. So yeah, last thing again, I want to say happy first anniversary to NyamukAfrica team, and keep doing what you do because you're doing it really well. And I am, very happy to continue the relationship that we have. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you very much. Thank you
Thank
very much,
you.
Milo.
Thank you, Milo.
No
Thank
problem.
you. So the word that I'm hearing from what you have mentioned, especially at the end of your presentation, is basically collaboration. And there's a lot we need to do in order to collaborate. There are a lot of people who are doing the same thing and they don't even know that they're doing the same thing. So if we do collaborate, come together and collaborate, we can go far. So this will take us into the next session on our agenda, and we'll break out into rooms where we'll just network from what has been discussed so far. We'll just talk about especially the collaboration that you've talked about. So I will be typing our discussion for the networking room, and it is how can the greater community support the local entrepreneurship ecosystem activities. So right now I will just be
Sopani, if you could just repeat that.
Okay, I'll be typing it out shortly, so and sending it to the chat. So it's how can the greater community support the local entrepreneurship ecosystem activity. So,
Thank you.
okay. Okay, just. Okay, thank you so much for coming back. I hope your networking session was went well and it was fruitful. So from the breakout sessions that we had, we'll just have feedback, quick feedback, say maybe 2 minutes, and we'll start with breakout room 1 to give us any feedback from your session. So in this breakout session, we had Joseph, Mr. Francis Mumbi, Milo. Any feedback from your session, from your room?
Thank you so much, Stefani. Certainly, this was one helpful discourse that we had among ourselves, just getting to learn from people, different sectors, really. I think one thing that stood out for me is that there is need to collaborate. I think that cannot be emphasized enough. There is need to collaborate. But another thing that stood out was the fact that at times people do not collaborate because of the lack of funding. And I think that's something that has to be looked at. But otherwise, it was a worthwhile conversation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph, for that. And we'll take it up into the Q&A. We've taken note of that. The reason why there's no collaboration is funding, or one of the reasons. If we can have feedback from breakout room 2. In breakout room 2, we had Mr. Aaron Mondoka, Audrey Chitangula, Lukonde Beatrice, Matimba Chongo, Zoheb Iqbal. Any feedback from that room?
Oh, thank you, Sopani, for that. I was saying we had a little bit of a challenge when it came to the network, but I was able to talk to some of them, and into our conversation, I was able to tell that, excuse me, one way we can support one another was by sharing ideas, you know, and talking to each other, and just having people be willing to share what they are up to, because someone might find little bits of things that they may be willing to give advice to. So that was one of the things that I picked up, is that talking and sharing ideas is very important.
Okay, thank you, Beatrice. Breakout room 3. Any feedback from breakout?
3, we talked a lot, or maybe summing up what came out, I would say it was around awareness and also supporting one another. So in the sense that as we promote or support the digital space, we do not leave anyone behind. And we are saying for us to support digital services sustainably, we have to take an holistic approach where we come up with solutions that do not leave the least literate people behind. And also at the same time, us who have the privilege of finding ourselves in networks such as this, connections to institutions such as NyamukAfrica, we should have have the role of advocates for some of the ideas that are coming up, and then at the same time also being the early adopters of these ideas, so that as we preach or as we advocate for these ideas, we are talking from an experience point of view where we have tested how these solutions are being implemented and how they work and what they're able to achieve, and also encouraging people running government institutions, for example, to also adopt, so that we leave no one behind. So yeah, that's the sum up of what came out in our group.
Okay, thank you so much, Julius, there for the feedback. We'll quickly go to room 4. This one had Lotson, Natasha, Innocent, Banda. Any discussion from your group?
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you. We had just started due to some difficulties, but the take-home message really is there is need, first and foremost, for these incubators to be supported, because as a person with an idea, you can't just flourish on your own. Hence, you need someone to mentor you, and we've realized that it's only these platforms like NyamukAfrica and Impact Hub, Long Hive, and the likes, who would take up a startup idea from scratch and see it up to a point where it becomes a reality. So when it comes to the greater community supporting, I feel much emphasis has to be placed on these incubators or platforms, because once they are supported, then we as startups, are already supported. So that was basically what we had talked about.
Okay, thank you so much. So just to quickly sum up what was discussed in these groups or this networking session, mostly there was a discussion of collaboration, and this word came up even before we went into the networking session, and the importance of collaborating. There was also sharing of ideas and making solutions for everyone. So people in the rural communities, people who have access to, say, the internet, people who do not have, so making solutions for everyone, and also advocating for ideas, people who have the opportunity to have access to these networks should advocate for everyone, and also support. So supporting each other, startups supporting each other, as well as ministries or different institutions supporting these startups. Like we have seen from the first year of Nyamuka, the steps that they have made in this 12 months, there's hope for more in the next 3 or 5 years if there's support, if there's collaboration, and if these ideas keep on flowing and we keep on sharing the ideas. So thank you so much. Right now, I'll hand over to Beatrice to go on with the program.
Thank you very much, Sopani. So we'll get back to our agenda and dive into excuse me, the next speaker, who is Ms. Emma Piri. I personally have had an encounter with Mrs. Emma Piri. We met through NyamukAfrica, who we are here to celebrate. So I'll ask Ms. Emma to come through. She is the coordinator for 50 Million African Women Speak, a platform that we are a part of and that we have greatly benefited from. So Ms. Emma, please, you can take the floor now.
Thank you so much, Beatrice, and happy first anniversary in NyamukAfrica. And I'm really grateful for extending this invitation to be part of this important celebration. Let's say hello to everyone. My name is Emma Piri. Just like Beatrice has introduced me, I work for the Republic of the Government of Zambia. I'm a gender specialist, as well as the national content developer for 50 Million African Women Speak project. So this is a project that has given birth to a 50 Million African Women Speak platform. So it is a digital platform that empowers women and youth with information on both financial and non-financial services. So the objective of this platform is to connect the women and our youth with other entrepreneurs in the 37 countries, because it's a project that is being implemented in the 8 countries. So for Zambia, as we all know, Zambia is one of the member states under COMESA. So COMESA is the one which is responsible for the 21 other countries. Then the other countries are coming from East African communities as well as ECOWAS. So those are the 3 regions that makes up this important project. So without wasting much of your time, like I've already mentioned, it's a digital platform, an empowerment that addresses your information needs. You can have money, but if you don't know where to access the relevant services, it defeats the whole purpose. Hence, the birth of this digital platform to address your information needs. I like it because it's unique in that it's a one-stop shop, a comprehensive one-stop shop designed in 2 different areas. Area A, that's where you find resources, information on where you can go in the event that you want to register your company. I'm glad the earlier speakers, they spoke of the good jobs or the good works that PACRA is doing, to mention a few. So on the 50 million, if you log in, you will find that there are a lot of service providers with information that you need as you are carrying out your everyday businesses. And not forgetting the institution we are celebrating today. NyamukAfrica is one of the registered service providers on this important platform. But then the questions, so many questions may arise. I'll start with maybe somebody who is listening to this, but then what are the qualifications or the criteria? This platform is meant for women. For a woman, there's no eligibility criteria. But for a man, we are interested in the youth, but not forgetting that men who are providing a service, just like Nyamuka is doing, they are welcome to create an account. So how you can benefit, you start by signing up to this platform. The young girls I'm seeing here, Sopani and her group, they're the first ones. They're actually ambassadors of this 50 million. They move with the 50 million platform, a flag so high, and we are grateful. Keep it up. And not forgetting to thank NyamukAfrica. So 50 million has collaborated so much with NyamukAfrica. As I'm speaking, I'm actually one of the judges that sits on startups. Much as we are operating in the COVID era, this COVID pandemic cannot be an obstacle. Us will continue pushing our businesses. And how you can do it holistically is by you getting connected to 50 million African Women Speak platform. And how you go about it, you can either visit www.womenconnect.org, or you can upload an application, 50 million African Women Speak application. You can get that from Apple Store or from Play Store. It is unique indeed in that it is user-friendly, it's very flexible, it is free, you don't need to pay anything. And the way it has been designed on the other area, because I spoke of the resources, but on the other area, their networking area, because the whole essence is for you to network with other entrepreneurs across the region as well as international spheres. So you can advertise your goodies. It was just the other day when I was talking to one of the ladies in Itivale Mall, asking them, because I saw something on the social media that I hope you've posted that even on the 50 million. Why? It's because I know it's a practical solution for our young ones as well as my fellow women. So I would urge all of you, for those ones who are yet to get connected to 50 million, kindly do that. And even if this pandemic is there, but it cannot defeat us. And you can imagine this COVID thing, it came in soon after Zambia holding a very successful national launch for the same platform we are talking about. And we had planned a lot of post-launch activities for us to start soon after the launch. But even if it is like that, our ideas, our dreams haven't died. For those who are following the 50 million African page, you can attest to what I'm saying in. COVID cannot defeat us, but us will have to put it in its correct position. And how? We've introduced the virtual meetings just like we are doing now. So we must commend ourselves as a Zambian country team for the good work that we are doing. Let's maximize 50 million platform. Why? It's because it is cheap. You can do your business in your own comfort zones, even at home, without anyone coming to disturb you. So more importantly, knowledge is power. So let's log in to 50 million. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, and happy anniversary, NyamukAfrica, and looking forward to a continued collaboration. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Emma. We like to call her Auntie Emma. We've benefited so much from the 50 African Men Speak platform, and we've been able to get a lot of financial and non-financial services. So it's definitely a good platform for us to network and interact. So now allow me to introduce our next speaker in our program, and he is a member of the Techstars community, and he is a co-founder of many startups. Just allow me to welcome Mr. Zoeb Iqbal. I really hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly.
You got it perfectly right, Beatrice. Hello, everyone. Firstly, happy birthday, Nyamuka. It's really exciting to be here, and just hearing the conversations that have been going on throughout the day, it's so encouraging. I remember the first time Stephen and I connected was when he was talking at our Unsummit, where he was talking to a load of our community organizers about the real value that comes through connection, and especially what opportunities are coming out of South Africa. And we couldn't be more excited to support some of the entrepreneurial journeys, as Joanne said earlier. Your dreams really are valid, and seeing what is going to be coming out of Zambia, what's coming out of Africa is really exciting. And Stephen touched on the fact that one of the Zambian teams are in the top 20 of the Startup Weekend event. If you've never heard of the Startup Weekend, I'll give you a quick overview. At Takeouts, we believe that entrepreneurs can and do come from anywhere, and we believe in collaboration that drives innovation. So Startup Weekend is a very early stage creative and collaborative educational event that allows anyone to develop and pitch ideas. So we ran this COVID edition within Zambia. Stephen and his team really did a great job, and now we're seeing the fruits of that success grow into that team being entered into one of the top 20 teams. And along with that, we run Startup Week programs, which is a 5-day celebration for your community, bringing everyone together and just reiterating on some of the points that everyone has been talking about, even in the breakout sessions: collaboration, building those connections of community leaders like yourselves. That's what's really important. And that's the things that we need to work on as the ecosystem. And I think, as we've seen over the past couple of months, nothing has been more important to realize how interconnected and globally connected we are. So there are no boundaries anymore. Whether you're in Zambia or in London like myself, or in Ireland, as Jean's going to be telling you about a little later on, we're all connected. So we're a global community now. So there are no barriers. As long as our digital connection and the Wi-Fi doesn't really cut out, we should all be connected in terms of our ideas, our community hubs, and how we can support each other. And I think that's one takeaway I want all of us to really walk away with today, is that we're all on this entrepreneurial journey as community leaders, as people are growing our ecosystems, and Takeouts is there to support in whatever form we can. But it's really about all of us kind of connecting the dots and making sure that we work collaboratively together and connect all our hubs. And continue the race, as Joanne said earlier, which I thought was really important. Continue the race for supporting all our entrepreneurs, to continue the race in terms of what we can do to support our ecosystems. And I think the key thing we all need to work on, and hopefully we can, acts as a real hub for all of us being in the room, is just communication. So what are some of the challenges that we're all facing, and how can everyone in this room support each other to actually face some of these challenges? Obviously, if you have any questions about Startup Weekend or Takeouts or Startup Weekend or the Startup Week, which is happening in Lusaka in August, feel free to reach out to us, and if you have any questions, I'm in the chat for a while as well, so just reach out to us and let us know what you kind of need to tap into. And we're excited to see this ecosystem grow. We can't wait to see what comes out of Africa again. Last year, this time I was in Ethiopia at Startup Weekend, and I can't wait to come back to Africa, hopefully once all of this is set up. And my first stop will definitely be Lusaka. So I can't wait to see you all, hopefully in person.
Thank you so much, Zoheb. So we'll just go straight into our program. I've noticed that we're running a little behind schedule, and so I will come Jean Murphy. And so Jean has worked over the past number of years to build strong connections between those who wish to be entrepreneurs and the stakeholders within this ecosystem. And this is really us who are present here today celebrating Nyamuka. And so without further ado, please, Jen, you can go ahead with
That's
the
excellent.
presentation. Welcome.
Thanks very much for the introduction. Big congrats today to everyone, and obviously to NyamukAfrica for holding this event and getting all these ideas out on the table. We're incredibly excited to be able to work with Stephen and the team to support and bring our Startup Boost Pre-Accelerator. I'm going to give you a little overview of that, and I think Stephen's going to pop up at the end for a few questions. So again, thank you very much for your time today. So Startup Boost is what we call a pre-accelerator, and our goal is to find the best entrepreneurs around the world and prepare them for accelerators, investment, and revenue. We started this about 3 years ago, and today I'm going to show you a little bit about what we've done in that time and how we feel this program can really make an impact for people right across the world. As you can see here, on the kind of the life cycle of a startup, they start with that great idea, they work with friends and family, and where we come in is when they're ready to look at the opportunity to grow and scale their company. Maybe they're considering going to an accelerator or an incubator. Maybe they're ready to bootstrap and generate revenue, or maybe they're ready for investment. And that's what we do over a 6-week program, an incredibly intense 6-week program. Now, we're based in different locations across Europe, across Canada, and across North America. And we're incredibly excited to now have a program that's starting in Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Lusaka. So that's a huge thing personally from myself and the team that we're over the moon about. And it's really great to be able to work with Stephen and the team on that. So we have programs, as you can see here, in a lot of different locations. We've had a lot of interest, and you can see with our orange dot, if I've read my map correctly, showcasing our latest program. So these are locations that people have put their hand up to say, I'd like to run a program. We're pretty strict with finding the right people that can really be a connector in their community, as Emma spoke about before, and our speakers today have said about being able to nurture and bring on that next round of entrepreneurs. And we get to partner with some really great people around the world, which then again helps all of our different cities in terms of taking that next step and really working with that. So we partner with companies like the Global Accelerator Network, F Success, and Techstars are an affiliate. So again, when we find great teams, we can help them make that step on their journey. So over the past 2.5 years, we've had about 2,900 applicants. We've had about 200 teams selected for that. So again, it's a pretty intense process to get onto the program, but 160 of those teams have gone on to the world's top accelerators, as you can see some of those here, and also have raised cumulatively about 45 million today. One of our companies just raised 6.5 million 2 weeks ago, called PathSpot. So again, really great company from Detroit. How does the program work? What can you actually achieve or get done in a 6-week process? We have this refined over the past number of years to be able to take teams one evening a week for 3 hours. First hour is a specific topic, one of 6 that we believe is important for them to have as a foundation in their company. This gives them an opportunity to learn from a great speaker, look at their company, see where the gaps are, and over that week improve those processes. We then have pitch coaching to help build their confidence, build their clarity in their company, and that's mentor-led. So they get great feedback each week and really come out on top. Yesterday, I was reviewing 37 pitches from our latest cohort. And again, the progress from week 1 to week 6 is just, an amazing amount of work that everyone's put in. Then we have hands-on mentorship for the final hour, where we break down with really great mentors. They could be people that are a few years ahead in their companies or great domain experts in an area, and really give that hands-on mentorship to be able to unlock those problems companies have and move them forward very quickly. Once the program is finished, we run a demo day, and we also connect with investors, connect with accelerators, and really help companies make that next step. But it doesn't stop there. We make sure that we're building connections. We also run a virtual demo day, which you can see here, and again, helps build more connections globally for those teams. And on top of that, we have a range of different ways to be able to support them post-program. Our programs, as the speaker had mentioned previously, COVID wasn't going to stop us or slow us down, because entrepreneurs never stop. So we moved online, which was a huge amount of work, but very, very exciting. And these are some of our cities from New York, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Chicago, and Los Angeles, that have done a huge amount of work over the past number of weeks. And again, post the program, we give people access to a platform we call BoostX. And that is a big digital library of content from all of our speakers around the world that's growing week in, week out. Weekly Ask Me Anything sessions with phenomenal founders, the ability to get perks and discounts and connect with other founders around the world. And I think it's a point that has been raised quite a lot today, is just the ability for founders on their journey to be able to learn from each other, grow in their experiences. And again, we feel that's something that's very, very powerful. The final point I'll say here is that we are just incredibly excited to be working with Stephen and the entire team. So I think Stephen's going to get up on stage, but this is you can visit startupboost.org/Zambia now. You can, reach out to the team there. And I invested in a little bit of equipment because my life is now online mostly. So I'm going to play a round of applause here and welcome Stephen up on stage. I think Stephen's going to join us. That's my favorite thing I've invested in over the past year, is a big button with a round of applause. I think the internet, sadly, is very quiet nowadays in our world where we live online. So I think it's nice. I also have an air horn, but I won't use that. I don't know why that's there, but the round of applause is good. So I think Stephen mentioned he's going to jump up on stage now, and he had a few questions. So looking forward to that. Or Beatrice, do you want to pop on?
Thank you very much, Jean, and Zambia and the world, as you just heard there, you did not miss. It's not a mistake that we have this wonderful program, Startup Boost, coming to Zambia. The way we had hoped is that maybe Sopani is going to take us through. I think you and me, Jean, we are on the same side here. We want our people to know that Startup Boost is now in Zambia. We are going to, if nothing goes wrong, we should be starting 28 September. That's when we should have kicking off. So we'll just be sharing more information. Jean, you may help with that by pasting the link maybe on the chat there.
I'll do that straight away.
So that they can be able to visit. So we're going to be announcing, maybe opening up for applications so that we can have our first, the very first in Africa. This is a milestone, Zambia. I would have asked, if possible, that we can unmute our videos and just have a salute. Yes, we have received a round of applause, but we really want to say thank you to Jean and the Startup Boost team. Please let us just unmute, turn on our cameras and just say hi to Jean and say, welcome, Startup Boost. Let's welcome Startup Boost to Zambia.
Welcome, Jean.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Yeah, Sopani.
Okay, so you did mention that it's starting on the 28th of September. How do people apply? Is there a Facebook page? Is there social media other than the website that you are about or that you have listed?
Yeah, we recommend going straight through to the site. We'll be chatting with Stephen and we may roll up a Facebook page for that. We're going to startupboost.org/Zambia. You can add your name to a wait list. And then from July 20th, all going well, you'll be able to apply online. And from that, again, I think application deadlines are around the 12th or 14th of September, with the program starting September 28th.
Are you answered, Sopani? Was that enough answer?
Yes, that's good. Beatrice, do you have a question for the Startup Boost team?
I'd like to ask if there's an age limit. Is there an age limit to the applicants?
Somebody's playing around with the microphone here. Sopani, help by muting those who are not participating. I would take that one, Beatrice. There is no age limit. There's not going to be an age limit. What is needed here is, do you have, is your startup at the top there? I think from what I was discussing with Jean the other day, he said having 10 startups in a Startup Boost program is a lot of work. So definitely we are not even going to have 10 startups in the program. We're going to have less. So what is important is your idea, is your startup, does it stand a better chance? You know, like when applications open, you have to get a spot by merit. We're just hoping that, so meaning even the startups that are, or that we are working with, those who are close, who are around us at NyamukAfrica, there are no guarantees that you are going to make it in Startup Boost. The only thing that can guarantee is if you work hard between now and then to position yourself so that you can get a slot. Otherwise, whether you're 100 years old or what, it comes down to your startup and the team, because here we want the best. It will just be for the best, to give a chance to the best. Sorry, just to divert a bit. For NyamukAfrica, we are coming up with a rehearsal. We have come up with a rehearsal program that we are going to have. It's not like a rehearsal, but it's a preparatory, just to prepare those startups that want to make it in the Startup Boost program. We're going to have a program, NyamukAfrica Inspire program, which will be just like a 5-week program to prepare, to help prepare, so that at least when it's time for applying for Startup Boost, you should not be dealing with the small issues. You stand a better chance. So it's going to be competitive from where I stand, but age is definitely not an issue. Yeah, then maybe if there are no questions from our hosts, there are things that I would like maybe Jean, so that you can help to articulate so that our listeners can understand. Who are going to be providing the training for Startup Boost? Is it like Startup Boost HQ is going to be responsible for delivering the training? Maybe you may go in depth as in how the program is going to be working.
Yeah, it's true. So I think, so our program is volunteer-led program. So thanks to you, Stephen, Julius, Joseph, Sadler, Joanne, Frederick, John, Natasha, and Bertha. I've got everyone's names finally. They're going to put a huge amount of time into that. What we do, I think what we've refined over the past 3 years is what works and what doesn't work. It is, when you look at it on paper, it's an incredibly short amount of time. But I think, it's the pressure that's put on the startups in a good way, and the support that's there for them. And the fact that we get through so much each week, it's designed to be efficient so that we can get great mentors and great speakers that you can, that can work with the teams. And in that time, it is always fascinating to see the transformation from the start to the end of the program with the entrepreneurs. I think, to answer your question, it's a lot of work that we put in with each of the teams, which we love doing. We get to learn an awful lot about communities, about individual people there. And again, that slide I had of all the different city directors on our remote program, you build up a great camaraderie, and there's really some phenomenal people. I think there's a benefit for the startup. We prepare them and work with them incredibly hard to be able to get them, prepared for an accelerator, investment, or revenue. Leaving our program with the work that's put in by everyone involved, they're doing investor reports they mightn't be doing for months later. Like, we make sure that they're the best of the best going into whatever next step that they have. I think we find with the really great founders that go through the program, they know what they're going to do for the next 6 months. And in the startup life cycle, every year is like 7 years. I always joke about that. So even that is a huge amount of preparation moving forward. So we have a kickoff with each of the teams, with each of the program leaders. We work with them in advance of the program to set up all the infrastructure, all the different playbooks that we have, and train them on that. There's a lot of great skills, I think, that program leaders learn themselves. We normally find that program leaders are, community leaders like yourself. They could be people starting out in venture capital or investment that want to learn more about the entrepreneur, the operator side, or they could be people that, want to run an incubator or make an impact in an accelerator themselves. So there's a lot of personal skills that people, learn from that. I think, from that during program, we're into weekly calls with each of our city directors. We push out marketing in tandem with the local cities, evaluations. We do an awful lot of work, especially over the last 10 weeks is a good example of it. 10 weeks ago, I was speaking with my co-founder, Blake. He's based in Los Angeles. And I was walking home and I was saying, Blake, COVID-19 could be something that's quite big. I wonder if, what will happen with our programs. And within 24 hours, all of our venues had canceled. We moved the programs out 2 weeks to get a little bit more time. And within that time, we were able to transfer that online. We were able to write playbooks, retrain people, find the right tools. We reviewed 35 different online platforms to find the one that was the best fit. And a big thing was the person-to-person, interactions. And we found a venue and we changed around a little bit, and we used that online, and we were able to deliver a really great program that made a big impact for those entrepreneurs. Which you're all welcome to come to our demo day on June 17th. You can go to startupboost.org and select a city to attend and see the startups. And equally on that, we didn't want just a video of all the startups, so we've created a whole demo day from scratch with some of our partners, where it's very interactive. You'll be able to watch the teams, chat with them, book meetings with them. So, the work that we put in at Startup Boost HQ, our goal is to minimize the work that chapter directors have, and there is work to do, to get you spending more time finding great speakers, great mentors, and working with the teams, because that's what we all want to do. We all want to work with great founders. And I always joke, I don't have children at the moment, but I always joke that each of the startups, I feel like a proud father at the end of the program, because you've selected them week 1, week 2, you're not too sure about them. Week 3 and 4, they're the terrible teens, and they're what's going to really happen with them. And week 5 and 6, the transformation is amazing, and seeing them on stage, virtually or physically, for demo.
Oh, I think we have lost Jean there.
Oh, sorry. Can you still hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I think your network is tripping. I don't know whether it's ours or it's.
My apologies. It's getting close to 5 o'clock here, so it's peak Netflix time. So it's probably broadband outages. But the point I was trying to make is, we've put a great framework together, we believe, that's made some, and the results are in the, what happens with the startups. And our chapter directors, I feel, are phenomenal community leaders. We want to make sure that they learn a lot from this, that they have new skills. And again, we're really excited about working with you on this and bringing the Startup Boost to enable a whole round of new founders that are going to, we feel, make some great progress with all of within the ecosystem in Lusaka and Zambia that's already in place. We just feel that there's a space for pre-accelerators that can really help everyone after that. If it's, obviously, firstly, the companies, the economy, investors, accelerators, we feel that, we play really well with everyone because we help improve that pipeline. We work with a lot of accelerators that will send us their teams that maybe didn't make their program, but they know that there's something there. And that's a great way of just everyone working together.
Thank you for that lengthy explanation.
Yeah, apologies, that was a bit long.
Okay, thank you so much for that
explanation. Jean, now we know that the Startup Boost, it's set up any money, the startup to be admitted in the pre-accelerator program. What will just be needed is a great team. In our experience working with startups, there's always an issue of teams. You find maybe one founder is hyperactive, is driven, but then the other guys, they are not sure whether this is going to work out and all. So there's not going to be any payment for Startup Boost program, but we need teams that are committed. So before we wind up, Jean, I would need you to help just to explain how can the community support a program just like Startup Boost that is just to come. Maybe you're addressing to community members here. Some they are from the corporate sector, and some they represent government. We have Madam Emma here. She's working for the government of Zambia. What we need to know is how best can the community support an initiative such as Startup Boost?
It's a great question. I think there's, very quickly, there's kind of three areas. You have a phenomenal community. We've talked about that quite a lot. And I think, first and foremost, great mentors and great speakers on those areas, who can put their hand up to put time in. Again, the raw materials of great mentors, speakers, and a great, program leader like yourself and your team are phenomenal, because working together, you'll find that great talent to put on that program. I think secondly, accelerators and incubators that are running programs. Who are those teams that just didn't make it, but you want to see again? This is a great way to be able to keep that talent circulating, learning more, getting ready for that opportunity. And I think third is looking for great partners. We've been very fortunate to work with people from, banks to telephone companies to everyone in between, who've supplied great mentors, have partnered, and have seen the value firsthand and being able to make an impact in their community through finding great founders and preparing them for accelerators, investment, and revenue. I think we all know the real currency and investment that is the resource that's the toughest is time. And I think, to your point previously, not having, working with a team and seeing, are they committed? You can't burn through time. A program like ours, in a very short space of time, will bring those issues to the front and will help deal with them. Our core is to make sure that we find great founders and prepare them for their next step as quickly as possible, and have a lot of fun in the process. I think the great thing I love most about our program is seeing our city directors, catch up and swap stories and swap ideas on what works in their city or works in your city. Look, ecosystems are built by many people. It is a village coming together. It's not an individual. And I think, that happens locally, but it also happens globally. And I think, like, Zoeb said earlier, we may be connected digitally, but it is a two-way street. We can all learn from each other. And I think that's important. So again, great mentors and speakers, number one. Two, local people in the ecosystem, do they have top talent that they want to see improved, either for accelerators or incubators, for example? And I think three, with government or local partners or different corporates, is this a program that really does work, and getting your people involved in it, they'll learn an awful lot in the process, and they'll have access to some really great knowledge. That, again, knowledge is power, and it will help so many people. So I hope that answers the question in that respect.
Yeah, thank you. I think in the interest of time here, I'll give back to our beautiful hostesses, Sopani and Beatrice. If there are any questions, maybe from what has been presented so far about Startup Boost. So this is not like an official launch for Startup Boost. This is just a birthday. It's just a birthday present announcement for NyamukAfrica, but we are going to have a proper launch for Startup Boost Zambia, and we'll be able to keep you all informed as to the developments in that direction. Over to you, girls.
And just a last point, sorry, is just, again, congratulations on your 1-year anniversary. And I think another round of applause for everyone today. And there you go. So I'll leave. I'll leave now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jin. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. So we have heard the dates, and so we look forward to the dates. There is July 20th. There's 28th of September. I hope I'm right. But be sure to look through the chat and follow and click on the link that's there and to get more updates. So to move on to our agenda, I'll be inviting Joseph Takopo. Joseph, can you just turn on your mic? And he's going to be announcing the Great Zambezi and One Hack Innovation Challenge. So Joseph, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sopani. So I want to be alone here. I would like to invite Kenneth and Rohit as well. Thank you so much. I can see you there, gentlemen. So quickly, so we have spoken of quite a number of things here. We've spoken of the Nyamuka Inspire program that will be coming up. We have the Nyamuka Startup Converse as well. Those are just some of the things that we have lined up for people. But quickly get into big news. Okay, so we as NyamukAfrica Solutions are proud to announce that we have we recently partnered with Incubate Ind, which is India's largest growing community of tech innovators. So basically, this has been necessitated by the COVID-19, which has just shown and proven to us that really we need more of the tech ideas that will ensure that you don't necessarily have to be physically present to do something. Like, for example, we are having this online meeting, this online celebration. We have people from different countries here. I think there are 4 different countries represented here, and yet none of us is in the same place. So this just tells us that we need more of the tech ideas that are going to bring us together. So just to announce that we'll be launching, okay, just a minute, let me just share my screen so that you could see the big news. Okay, so can you all see my screen? Beautiful. Okay, so having partnered with Incubate Ind, I am proud to announce that we shall be having the Great Zambezian One Hack Innovation Challenge, which is particularly centered at looking at the COVID-19, trying to come up with different tech-based ideas that will ensure that life goes on for everybody. Life shouldn't be on standstill. So basically, I think, like I said, Incubate Ind is India's largest and fastest growing tech community. Then we as NyamukAfrica is part of our initiative that aims to support and accelerate the international growth of startups in Africa. We decided to partner with them because it's a core part of our strategy. Okay, so I think this is where the meat is. So amidst the growing crisis of the COVID-19, see, researchers have told us that the COVID-19 will be here for some time, but does that mean that our life will have to come to a halt? Certainly not, because I think life has to go on. We definitely have to keep working. We've got families to look after. We've got responsibilities. So this Great Zambezian One Hack Innovation Challenge is centered at coming up with rather encouraging developers, these are tech developers, to come to one place, brainstorm the different possible ideas to tackle the COVID-19, and then basically we get to look at all these different ideas. Okay, so these are the objectives. Like I said, our objective with the Zambezi One Hack Innovation Challenge is to ideate the solutions that are implementable to deal with the challenges posed by COVID-19. You do agree with me that because of the COVID-19, I recently read a report that across the Zambezi River, our colleagues in Zimbabwe are unable to travel to Zambia to order their goods, basically because the buses, the trucks are unable to move because of the fear that they might spread COVID-19. Hence, I think this just tells you to say there is need for a logistics solution of some sort, something that is tech-based, that will ensure that even when this person is in Harare, Zimbabwe, they could still make their orders from Zambia, and they could still be taken to Zimbabwe without them having to physically have to travel to Zambia. But apart from that, these are ideas that are not for the short term. These are not ideas that are centered for the first 1 or 2 years, but these are ideas that we are hopeful that they would take us the long term. These are solutions that will possibly even tackle pandemics that could come in the near future. Okay, so like I said, some of the, maybe let me just highlight some of the sectors that have been affected by the COVID-19. We have the health sector, because I mean, you can tell that the health sector has been overwhelmed by the volume of people that have been affected by the COVID-19. Apart from that, there's the education sector as well. You do agree with me that not just in Zambia, not just Africa, but around the globe, the education sector has been affected to the point that students or pupils no longer go to school. And this is not just for the primary or secondary, but even universities as well. So we are hoping to bring developers together, get them to brainstorm different ideas to even the challenges posed by the COVID to the education sector. For example, we do have EduSongs, and that's a solution that's under our portfolio. It recently partnered with the government of the Republic of Zambia, and we are proud to announce that they are supplying educational video content to educational broadcasting services, and you can actually see their content on the NBC TV4, which they're calling Edu TV. So basically, I mean, this pupils are able to look at this content, and they still learn even from the comfort of their home. So apart from that, the fintech sector as well needs tech-based solutions. I think it has been said time and again that technology is an enabler. I think now it goes without mentioning that anything that you do has to have some aspect of technology in it, because without technology, believe you me, you would I think sooner rather than later you wouldn't be relevant. You cease to be relevant, because for example, there was a time when we would have people that, before the ATMs came into play, we would have people that would sit in the banks and receive your money. But now, because of technology, we now have an ATM that receives your money. So what does that mean? That people that were employed to do that job no longer have jobs. So so in a nutshell, the One Hack, the Zambezi One Hack Innovation Challenge is centered around the COVID-19 and coming up with tech-based solutions that will tackle the present challenges and the future possible challenges that might come. And I must mention that this will be held on the 24th to the 27th of July, and I'm proud to announce that we are in talks with the government of the Republic of Zambia. We are hopeful that they will come on board as partners to ensure that this innovation challenge is a success. Over to you, Sapani.
I would think, I would like, sorry for intervening, I would think maybe it's better if we can also have the team from Incubate in to come on board and just help you to articulate this.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, everyone. It's evening, so namaste, everyone. I mean, that's the way we greet in India. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk with all of you. As Joseph has rightly introduced us, we're amongst the largest community of tech enablers innovators, startups, developers here in India. We've been operational for almost 4.5 years. Hackathons and other knowledge events is something that we do here in India, large formatted. Like for an example, and I would send an invite to each one of you. We are doing an artificial intelligence upskilling 2-day extensive boot camp with Microsoft and Government of India on 26th and 27th of June. Over 20,000 students all over India would join us on a web platform, learn and earn their certificates, which would help them find their jobs and maybe define their careers in a better manner. So maybe I will, as and when we launch, we will drop in a note to all of you, maybe encourage you to be part of that initiative as well. I think Stephen and Joseph have defined pretty nicely as to what we do here in India. I just want to add something and maybe leave this for all of you to ponder. India is a destination as a country, is perhaps the largest now. Maybe we have overtaken China also in terms of population. We never know. Anything that you wish to do in India, in terms of startups, in terms of innovation, in terms of technology ecosystem, give us a shout. We'll be happy to partner and represent you here in India, and maybe have you represent, incubate here in whatever manner that you could do. Let's create a community together, all of us, and help the ecosystem in our respective locations. And that's the only way it will grow, especially after the pandemic, wherein India would eventually see 40% of workforce, out of the jobs. This is the only time we got to, get together and help everyone. So that's where I think I am, and that's where I think I leave this uh, message to all of you. Happy to collaborate, happy to do anything for you and or other any of your initiative here in India. Happy to represent in a true spirit of partnership.
Awesome. This is really great to see, and I hope my mic is up. Yes, this is really great to see, and as we keep on talking about collaborating, this is really one example of the collaboration that Africa is doing. So not only in Zambia, but in Africa, but across the globe. So this is really exciting to see, and we're excited. We're following these dates, and we'll definitely be tuned in. We're running a bit behind time, so Joseph, I'll call upon you to call on the keynote speaker, Mr. Francis Mumbi. So please, Joseph, over to you.
Thank you. So I believe we've had a great time here, just trying to interact and just joining us as we celebrate this great milestone. Because believe me, it hasn't been easy. We are not certain if it will be easy, but I think one thing for certain that we know is that we shall persevere, we shall keep running, because the greatest thing that we ever did was to get up and get started, even though the future wasn't certain. So without wasting much of yours and my time, I would like to introduce someone that I recently met. This is, and again, because of technology, this is someone that I met on the, we had a call, and he's someone that was, that recently spoke at one of our events, the Startup Converse, and he said something that kept me thinking, and I think it's something that's still rings in the heads of the people that attended it. So this man says, as a startup business or as a business person, do not focus so much on your competitors, but rather focus on your unique offering to your customers, because it is only when you understand what your customers want that you should be able to offer better than what your competitors are offering. So once again, without wasting much of yours and my time, I would like to introduce to us Mr. Francis Mumbi. Mr. Mumbi, sir, you may walk to the stage, sir.
Thank you very much, Joseph, and thank you very much the team. And it's a very happy birthday to NyamukAfrica first anniversary. And I'm really excited that you considered me to participate in your first anniversary celebration. And I've been closely following the presentations by various team members, and I'm excited that we are believing in the ability of this ecosystem to grow, and for entrepreneurs and innovators to be able to think through and solve not only some of Africa's pressing problems, but of course use this as a platform to expose African innovations to the rest of the world. For me, that's my firm belief, and that's the belief that I carry, and hopefully I can wrap some of that passion onto this community. So when Stephen asked me to share a keynote, I was kind of hard pressed in terms of what I can share with the community. And then I looked at some of the happenings both locally and globally, and tried to connect with what we're trying to achieve. Personally, in my personal capacity, but also as a community and as a collective. So I'll share some aspects in terms of what's happening at a global scale, and hopefully bring it down into the local context, and hopefully we can draw some lessons in terms of what we should be thinking around as individual entrepreneurs, as well as a community. Talking about myself, my career started off in retail as an accountant. Later on, the shareholders of that company started a financial services business, where I went to work as investment analyst and accountant. There I got exposed to various types of individuals and innovators within the Zambia context. Then I went into commercial banking, where I'm currently working a full-time job. But I'm also actively working in the tech startup community, volunteering and trying to make the right connections for various innovators to see how best we can find mutual success. So I'll start off by looking at some of the trends which are impacting the globe as a whole. As you know, most of the changes that we're seeing are both driven by one, technology advancements, but also societal changes. If you look at the society side of things, you're seeing the growth of social media as a technology and a platform, with people forming communities up on top of these social media platforms, be it Facebook, be it LinkedIn, or any other social media platforms. These are people who have identified themselves, they've self-identified, they believe in a particular cause, and they're sharing ideas and trading trading concepts and ways of enhancing their cause. We've also seen the globalization of skills and talent. In this conference, what we are seeing is talent coming from across the globe, being able to offer products and services using digital technologies to people halfway across the world. So talent is no longer localized, but it's global. So if you've got an oversupply of talent, guess what? You've got a global marketplace where you can offer your skills and products and services. And the inverse is true. In parts of the world, if we've got a deficit of talent, we can always source that talent globally and be able to execute against the vision or dream. Then we've also seen the change in the ways people work. So everybody I engage with, whether they're in formal employment or not, they're always pursuing an entrepreneurial idea. And this is particularly true of Africa. Everybody's either running a kantemba, which is for for our colleagues joining us from across the world is a small store or shop where you can trade retail goods and services. Everybody's running a farming business. Somebody's running a chicken business. In Africa, what we see is that there's always an entrepreneurial spirit. And with technology, this is being expanded, where now people are choosing to join what is emerging as the gig economy instead of pursuing the formal employment route. These societal changes are also influencing how we innovate around technology. So within the technology space, there's growth in artificial intelligence across the board, because the internet and interactions across various platforms and products is generating this huge amount of data, which is fit for use to use artificial intelligence to understand what trends are emerging, to solve some of the biggest problems that we're facing. In this case, if you look at COVID-19, there are use cases where people are using artificial intelligence and sourcing information and insights from the crowd to quickly get to a point where we can find a vaccine and solve the problem. The emergence of new technology platforms like 5G, which is going to promise new form of economies and economic models across the board. The emergence of the Internet of Value. So previously, when the internet just came on board, it was just an exchange of websites and information and pictures and cut memes. Now, the internet has emerged into the Internet of Value, where trade and commerce takes place, and people can exchange value and money across the internet. Then from the platform and infrastructure side of things, we're looking at the emergence of cloud. So previously, if you wanted to start a business, you needed to buy a computer. That computer needed to have a server. Now you can just go onto the internet, and there are businesses out there which can give you all the infrastructure you need to start off a business in the cloud without having to buy any software to be installed on your machine. So people argue that we're now moving from the fourth industrial revolution, as it has been described, the fifth industrial revolution. But the challenge is, of course, even if this future is upon us, it's not evenly distributed. So there are those who are accelerating towards this new wonderful world, and there are those which are being left behind. And I believe that it's up to entrepreneurs and innovators like yourselves to bridge those gaps and ensure that even as the world moves forward, we begin to bring everybody along to reap the benefits of this new, for lack of a better term, this brave new world. Bringing it onto the local context, I think we've seen the impact of technology on businesses and society. I'm coming from the financial services space, and what you begin to see is the impact of new players in the market, such as mobile money operators, who have really opened up access to financial services. So in 2010, when mobile money came onto the market, it was less than 2 billion of the transactions across the board, if you look at payments happening. Now, mobile money accounts for over 60 billion of all financial transactions, 60 billion with a B in Kwacha of transactions happening around people exchanging value across this mobile payment ecosystem. So that's growth, that's new economic models, new economic opportunities, which this opening up of the financial services industry has done through the mobile money ecosystem. We've also seen technology redefining some of the old and traditional ways in which we exchange value as a community. So what we've seen is the digitization of legacy social constructs like village banking. It has now gone digital. You find people are running village banking groups on WhatsApp, people are running village banking groups on Facebook, and they're able to exchange value. And village banking, for my colleagues from outside Zambia, is a way where people pool funds together, sort of crowdsourcing funds and money, and they can be used to either invest in a business for a particular individual. It could be a source of short-term funding for somebody who's sort of hit a hard patch in a particular month. But it's also opening up ways and means in which people raise capital to fund not only their entrepreneur dreams, but also in an unfortunate event that you've got a cash deficit, you can call on to the community through these constructs to help you make it through your journey. So technology is already enabling all these constructs now to move from the local community, but to move onto a countrywide level where people can now exchange value across towns, districts, and aggregate resources for investment in future ventures. In the age of COVID, for the past 3 months, our world has been turned upside down. But of course, business and entrepreneurs has carried on. It's not life unusual, but it's life. It's not life as usual, but it's now life unusual. And we are seeing conferences have gone virtual. We're in the virtual conference now. Could have been meeting at some nice fancy hotel, but this also does the trick. Businesses have gone online. Everybody's now building a digital storefront, which allows business to continue and services to be delivered. Schools are happening on TV. Schools are happening on mobile phones. School is happening on tablets. So we're beginning to now, what the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed is that there are cracks within the way life was carrying on before. But not only that, even though there are cracks in the way life was carrying on before, we actually do have the technology to actually carry on life in new ways and forms. So when you needed to go to the US or India for university, what COVID-19 has demonstrated that you can actually have school online and still have the same quality of education you would have had if you were sitting in a physical classroom. So COVID is both an unfortunate event, but for innovators and creators, it's actually an opportunity to accelerate growth and technology and digital adoption going forward. So what are the key takeaways for an entrepreneur and innovators? I think it has been said that never let a good crisis go to waste. And what I've seen within the COVID crisis is the creativity and ingenuity of entrepreneurs to find ways and solutions to ensure that life carries on, and of course communities and businesses and families continue to succeed and thrive. But there are certain things that as an entrepreneur operating in this global stage you have to be deliberate about. The first one, I think it has been highlighted by most speakers and most who have come before me, is collaboration and connections. It's very difficult to succeed alone, especially if you want to do something great and impactful. And most of the successful industries that you will see, they actually collaborate. If you look at the automotive industry, most of the technology that you see in a Toyota, in a Mercedes-Benz, if you drill deep, you find that it was jointly developed by those two companies, even if on the surface they are competing. Collaboration not only allows you to exchange and get the best ideas from the best minds around you, but it also moves the whole ecosystem forward. I've got a belief in the saying that you can be smarter than or better than some of us, but you can never be better than all of us. The team and the crowd always wins. So find those partners who share your passion, who share your vision, who complement your skills to collaborate with. And also note that the diversity of ideas and thoughts always yields better results than a singular approach to a problem set. The second point to take away is that look beyond the immediate. Look beyond the immediate need. Look beyond the immediate market. But look at the world as your ultimate platform and playground, and use technology to amplify your voice. Working in sub-Saharan Africa, you may think that your ideas are only relevant now, but guess what? I've worked in circumstances and engaged across different platforms where I've seen ideas which were generated in Africa have actually been exported with great success to other parts of the world. So that gives me comfort that great ideas can come from anywhere, and now technology can be used to amplify those ideas and amplify your voice. If you look at the mobile money or mobile banking revolution, it actually began in Africa. It actually began in Zambia. Then it was perfected in Kenya and then exported across the world. So great ideas can come from anywhere. Use technology to amplify your voice. And we're all waiting for you to see how you take us to the next level. Third is always look at purpose beyond profit. And remember why every day you wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, scheduling that conference, making that call, drafting that email, working on that piece of software. It's because there's something bigger which you're working towards rather than just for profit. So all the participants in this celebration, when they spoke, I could sense that this endeavor is not just about money, but they want to see societies and people be able to have the necessary tools and skills to be able to lift themselves. So always remember that. If that deal falls through, the guys didn't sign the contract or the guys didn't pay on time, remember there's something bigger that you're driving rather than profit, but it's just purpose. Most of the successful entrepreneurs that you see are purpose-driven. The late Steve Jobs, if you look at Elon Musk is not building electric cars and rockets because he likes electric cars and rockets. His purpose, although we're benefiting from that, is that he wants to set up a human base on planet Mars. So he's taking us from this planet to the next planet. But in the process of achieving his purpose, we're all beneficiaries of some of the innovations which are coming out of that space. So put purpose above profit, and you find a community, you find the resources to be able to back you and achieve your dream. Point number 4 is around how is more towards the large corporates and more established institutions like government and the rest. And I think I'm in my day job, I'm working in large corporates and established business. I think there is, for us to always remember that disruption comes from the periphery or the peripheral. And as they say, the revolution won't be televised. Most of the companies which have been disrupted, they didn't see the disruption coming. The old tales of Kodak is a good cautionary tale where you don't ignore what entrepreneurs are doing in their garages, in their living rooms, in their bedrooms overnight. That, if you ignore it, you can ignore it at your own peril. If you look at the media space as an example, Facebook started off as an idea on a college campus, on a college dorm, as a social network. And most of the traditional media houses were getting all the money from advertisers, and people wanted to sell their products and services on TV, radio, and newspaper. Guess what? Facebook now and Google are one of the biggest advertising platforms you can ever see we've ever seen in history. And all those advertising budgets which were going to newspapers and radios and TV stations have now migrated to this platform. So we always have to be conscious of what's happening in the peripheral, bring these new startup entrepreneurs on board, take some risks, experiment with their ideas. Locally in Zambia, I've seen that happen where in our business, we experimented with one emerging fintech. Now they're the biggest providers of tax payment platforms across the country. We took that risk, and the market as a whole has benefited from that. So we need to open up our doors, open up our platforms, so that we can engage these emerging ecosystems. For the startup, sometimes we have these grand ideas of taking over the incumbents, the big bad corporates. Sometimes it's not always the case. Sometimes it helps to connect to a bigger platform. It helps connect to a bigger ecosystem, because that can immediately give you scale. So take some risks. Don't stop knocking on those doors, asking for those meetings, getting those contacts, and being able to position the idea. But in positioning your idea, remember that if a business has been in existence for 50 years, 20 years, 100 years, recognize that the lessons that they've learned about what works and what doesn't work. Educate yourself in new emerging skills. Understand data. Understand artificial intelligence. Understand how you can use blockchain in your business to be able to create value. And then go into those boardrooms and demonstrate how your idea helps improve health and education if you're pitching an idea to the government by, say, an additional 1 million children who are currently not exposed to health and education. If you're going to a for-profit business, demonstrate how your idea adds another 10 to 25% new customers to their bottom line. That way you get the large corporate's attention, and they will be able to open doors for you and respect you and give you the recognition and the platform that you deserve. With those 5 points and in closing, all I want to say is that the future is already here, but it's not evenly distributed. Those are not my words. I just heard them on the internet, but I like them. But it's up to us as entrepreneurs, as innovators, to connect, to engage, to educate ourselves, to invest in ourselves, to invest in our teams, to be able then to ensure that this future that we are building, everybody gets to benefit. We can demonstrate that not only great ideas can come from Africa for Africans, but some of the ideas that Africans are coming up with are relevant at a global scale, and they'll be able to take the world to the next level. Thank you very much for your time, and a very happy and awesome anniversary for NyamukAfrica. It's time for Africa to arise, and we'll arise with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I wish we could have the applause now, Jane, but thank you so much.
I was doing the applause.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis Mumbi, for those great points. I would like to go through them, but I'm sure people picked up. Look beyond the immediate market. The whole globe is ready for your ideas. Look beyond above profit, so purpose above profit. The last one that he did mention, the future is here, but not for everyone. So we need to make sure that our ideas are for everyone. NyamukAfrica solutions, as we are rising, as we are going to have more milestones and more birthdays, so to say, that we lift others as we rise. So thank you so much, Mr. Mumbi. I wish we had cake, but this is the down part of having the virtual meetings, because now, as you said, would have been in a fancy hotel or Impact Hub or somewhere celebrating and would have had cake. But anyway, awesome. Thank you, Mr. Steven, for showing us that. So thank you so much for everyone who has taken part up to this time. And right now, I'll just go straight to the last part, which is John, who's going to give us a vote of thanks. But from me, and I know Beatrice will take it up to say her thank yous. Thank you so much for the participants who stayed up to this time, and happy birthday, Nyamuka. We wish you more successes, more milestones, and yeah, more success, and lifting everyone, every startup as you rise, and Nyamuka, as your name says. Beatrice.
Thank you very much. I got kicked out. My network was very bad and my laptop went off. But thank you very much for the speak and the encouragement, and also just for encouraging us to cheer on and work on our ideas and on our solutions and be great and be giant enough to achieve our goals. This meeting was very awesome. It was very exciting. Once again, happy anniversary, Nyamuka. We look forward to working with you and working with other startups that will come from your platform. It's been an honor to serve. So yes, happy birthday. And I think we have to call upon John now to come through. Is that right, Sobani?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So John, you could kindly Come through, the floor is all yours. Happy birthday once.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure I have right now to give a vote of thanks on behalf of Nyamuka team. We would like to appreciate everyone who showed up today. We wish we could meet physically and share the cake together, but it seems this thing of Corona could not allow us. But anyway, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much to all our speakers. I would not follow the protocol, but for everyone who spent his time to share his knowledge with the team, we are really happy to have you in our ecosystem. And also to our partners, Incubate In, Techstars, 50 million African women speak. Everyone, we are really happy to have you, and we appreciate your contributions. We appreciate also the energy you have put in place to see this new baby Nyamuka grow. You know, when we have a new baby, the baby needs support from the entire family. And that family, we are looking at people who saw the day before the baby. And those people are, for example, Impact Hub, Incubate, and having you in board, we gives us encouragement, and we appreciate your support. And also to Mr. Francis, thank you very much for your time. This is the second time I'm seeing you on a Zoom meeting, and I believe it's not the last time we are having you. The entire Nyamuka team really appreciate your time and your support. And also to all our startups, all the startups under Nyamuka Africa, I can ensure you, you are the reason why Nyamuka Africa is in existence. If you could not believe Nyamuka Africa, I think whatever we could do could not be successful. We are really happy to have you on board, and we believe to see you growing big in the nearest future. As Mr. Steve said and the entire team, we believe to see one day Facebook coming, a company like Facebook coming out of Zambia, a company like Google coming out of Zambia, and that can only be done with the collaboration of each one of us. If we have learned a lot of things today, as Mr. Fred said, Mr. Steve came as a client and they ended up partners. It's also the same. You can come as a client to Nyamuka and end up becoming an entrepreneur. Happy first anniversary to Nyamuka team and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. We've come to the end of our program, but also just to highlight that the Zoom meeting open for networking goes on. So, Bunny, is there anything?
We have already overlapped. Is this overlapping?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stephen, you're saying something?
I'm saying with this overlapping, are there any maybe who can maybe show up by raising hands if they still want to network so that we know whether we just to check if there are people who want to have a chat.
like to network in rooms, anyone who would like to network, so that we leave the meeting open for networking, you can just raise up your hand. Ah, nice.
We are on our way.
That's true. We're on our way.
Awesome. Okay. So maybe we'll just leave the meeting open if anyone wants to chat either privately in the chats or something. But thank you so much for everyone who's stayed with us for the 2 hours plus, I think. And once again, happy birthday, Nyamuka. We are so excited for the things that are coming after this 1 year. And yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's here. I don't know if Joseph would like to do a group photo right now. If everyone can turn on either their cameras or if they have a picture icon on their Zoom, if they have a profile for a group photo.
That one.
You have to forgive me. I'm driving. That's fine. That's okay. Joseph, you could just take.
Don't zoom and drive.
I shouldn't actually.
Don't zoom and
I'm grateful
drive.
for the traffic. I'm grateful for the traffic, but yeah, I'm going to turn off the camera and then just leave the audio.
Okay, allow Joseph.
Can we all take a group photo?
You ready?
Okay, so can we all say one?
One.
One, yeah.
All right. Have the picture. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Congratulations, Nyamuka.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, congrats.
I'm coming.
Thank you.
For cake.
Thank you. Zikomo. Okay. Wow.
So are we remaining here to network? I can see people not leaving.
No, guys, let's go take stars. Hassan is on. Hassan, let's go and support Hassan. The link, I'll share the link just now. If we can all tune in. I don't know if it's closed, but let's check out what's happening with Hassan there.
Okay, sure.
Let's check what's going on with Hassan. How can I share the link from WhatsApp? Because we have to end here, otherwise, if we stick around, we won't be able to go on the other side. Especially myself. But let me share the link just before we go.
Okay.
I hope they will allow us to without the invitations just to get crashed there. Let me know those who will have made it. But let's go and support Asani.
Okay, awesome. Please let me know once everyone has clicked on that link and we could end the meeting.